Friday is for Jamaica. Friday, we will have the official draw for the 2023 edition of the Concacaf Gold Cup. But there's another day that needs to be set in our hearts and set into stone. And what day is that? Well, that day in particular is May 16, 2023. And what is going to happen on May 16, 2023? On May 16, 2023, we will have the draw for the 2023-2024 edition of the CONCACAF Nations League. Why is this so important? Remember now that the top 6 teams from the CONCACAF Nations League will qualify for the 2024 edition of the Copa America tournament. All right? So that is something that you all have to bear in mind. All right? The 2023-2024 edition of the CONCACAF Nations League, yes, that in turn we will be able to see exactly what we're talking about. And that is, yep, that's right, 6 teams being able to progress to the Copa America. All right, guys? So that is something for us to bear in mind fully. Okay? And if you look on your screen right now, you see League A, League B, League C. So teams that are in League B and teams that are in League C will not stand any chance whatsoever in order to qualify for the 2024 edition of the Copa America. And just before I move on to the League A teams, I want you guys to remember this, that this summer, 2023, the Gold Cup in the United States, 2024 Copa America in the United States, 2025 Gold Cup in the United States, and 2026, the FIFA World Cup. USA, Mexico, Canada, 2027, CONCACAF Gold Cup, and 2028, the Summer Olympics. So what does that tell you? That tells you for the next 6 years, potentially 7 with 2029 Gold Cup, Jamaica will be in the United States for the next 7 years. So it's imperative to get used to the conditions, the facilities from now. So we utilize the Gold Cup to be able to know the facilities, the conditions from now, because 2023 Gold Cup, 2024 Copa America, 2025 Gold Cup, 2026 World Cup, 2027 Gold Cup, 2028 Olympics, and 2029 Gold Cup, Jamaica will be in the United States. So what does that tell you? Well, that tells you everything that you need to know in terms of what lies ahead. The next 7 years, Jamaica will be in the United States. And what should that tell you? Well, being able to get used to facilities, being able to get used to the different surroundings that you're in, the different states, stadiums, so that you know from early as well. And guess what? Sandwiched between all of that, you'll have CONCACAF Nations League assignments. You'll also have encounters in World Cup qualifying as well. I know that the United States will not be part of World Cup qualifying, but at least we are aware of exactly what has been happening there. Marlon Barrett, how are you doing, sir? Hope you're doing well. Now, for Spec Simon, any updates as far as new Reggae Boyz receiving their documents? Well, at this point in time, as you are aware, there are some players that are working on that process. Some have not received their passports, but all being well, should in due time. All right. So if you look at League A right now, if you look at the teams below Canada, right? You have Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Martinique, Cuba, Curacao, Suriname, Nicaragua, and Grenada. So these are the 12 teams that will compete in the group stages of the CONCACAF Nations League. And this gets going September 2023. All right? September 2023. All right? So that tells us everything we need there. So we're going to have 2 groups, one with 6 and another with 6. It's going to be 4 matches. But as you know, you're going to have 6 teams in a group. So there's going to be 1 team in your group that you're not going to play. And of course, you're not going to play yourself. So it will, of course, come down to the big draw that takes place in May. May 16, that will be the time that we keep a very close eye upon there. So what does that mean? Well, there is going to be 1 team that Jamaica will not play. We don't know yet who that team is, but whoever Jamaica's 4 games will be against, 2 home and 2 away. What is incredibly important is that Jamaica gets 4 wins. 4 wins gets to the quarterfinals. Finishing in the top 2 means that you advance to the quarterfinals, which will be home and away in November. So Jamaica would play one of Mexico, USA, Costa Rica, Canada. You know that in the last few years, Jamaica has played a lot of high intensity competition. Once upon a time, we'd only play the US, the Mexicos, etc. in World Cup qualifying, but now we played Mexico in the Nations League, home and away. We took them on in World Cup qualifying. We've been playing the teams at a high standard more frequently compared to, say, a decade ago or even 2 decades ago. So that is something that we should all be happy about and thrilled about. You know what I'm saying? Mark Plunkett says, "Bless up Simon, bless up everyone." Bless up, Mark. How are you? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well and everything like that. Marlon Barrett, the situation with Zach Lovelace is that he's been called up to the England setup. Does that mean that he's turned his back on Jamaica? No, not at all. The Margray's papers have been submitted, yes. I should say that he submitted his application. That's the proper jargon to use in this situation. Wayne Carnegie says, "We want revenge with Canada." So quite likely, depending on what happens here, most likely what you're going to have is that the group winners would avoid USA and Mexico, while the runners-up of each of the two groups will face Mexico and the United States. So if Jamaica wins their group in the Nations League coming up, then they're likely to face one of Costa Rica or Canada. Chevon Peart says, "Bless up, Simon. Bless up, boss. How are you doing, sir? Hope you're good." So this is where things are right now. So bear in mind for the quarterfinals, it will be home and away. So it is two-legged, okay? But the semifinals, third place playoff, and final is one-legged. So it is important. And what else do we need to bear in mind? Winning the quarterfinal means that you will automatically qualify for the Copa America. The team that doesn't win their quarterfinal, well, they will head into what is called a play-in round. So the four quarterfinal losers will get together, team 1 versus team 4, team 2 versus team 3, and then the two winners there will join Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, Peru, Uruguay, and Venezuela in the Copa America. 16-team tournament. That's right, 16-team tournament. And I'm sure you guys would remember the format that we had in 2016 as well was also a 16-team tournament as well. And remember, outside of the CONMEBOL nations that took part within the tournament, we had diversity with the Mexico's, the United States. We also had within the tournament as well Costa Rica, the Central American champions, Jamaica 2014 Caribbean Cup winners, Haiti, and Panama, who were winners of the Copa America Centenario qualifying playoffs. So similarly to what we saw 7 years ago, is basically what we're seeing. So this is something that we're going to see pan out again. So something for us to look at as well from that standpoint. Mark Plunkett says, "Right now, I think we can beat any one of those top 4 teams." I agree with you, Mark. 110%. The ability is there. We're able to do that. And if you look at the quality that we have at our disposal as well, I have to agree with you 100%. Never had any doubt at all in terms of the quality that is at our disposal and what the team has been able to accomplish, So from that standpoint, I'm pleased with things, and I'm looking forward to what lies ahead for sure. And just a reminder for those guys that are just tuning in, to everybody just tuning in, welcome. Please hit the like button, and after you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button right here to Reggae Boyz commentary. Okay, guys? So that is something for you guys to bear in mind. All right? Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button with Reggae Boyz commentary. Okay? So this is the latest right now in relation to the Nations League for Jamaica 2023-2024. And in a sense, you have to look at these 4 group stage games. And in addition to those 4 games, the quarterfinals, these 6 matches, you could say, as preparation. You have to look at it as preparation, because these 6 games set the tone for the World Cup qualifiers and can give you all the momentum that you need going forward. Jamaica advancing to the quarterfinals, winning a quarterfinal, and qualifying for the Copa America Centenario without even have to go through the process of a playoff helps things go smoother so that Jamaica can focus 2024 on World Cup qualifying and the Copa America itself. Yeah, that Mexico game gave me more confidence and faith in the current players, according to Mark Plunkett. So that is the situation that we have right now. I know many people are still asking, but Simon, there's 6 teams that will be in 2 groups of 6 teams. So again, you're only going to play 4 teams, and the table is going to look quite compelling because everybody is not going to play everybody. And when you bear in mind everybody is not going to play everybody, you may have some scenarios where a team beats another team by a huge scoreline, by a big margin. So what is our first priority? Victory. The first priority is wins. And if Jamaica can ensure that we get the wins, then we are cooking with gas, smooth sailing, and moving in the steady and right direction of what we need. That is exactly what we have to bear in mind from this Nations League. Okay? I know you're looking at the Nations League, the CONCACAF index, and you see Haiti above Jamaica, but I promise you, this is temporary. If you look at the quality points, Jamaica 1,479, Haiti 1,482. So it's a very slender margin in terms of the CONCACAF index, in terms of the rating points. Panama, not too far ahead as well. Definitely reachable, catchable, a team that can be overtaken as well. Certainly, they've done some fantastic work under Thomas Christiansen, the Danish man who was born to a Spanish mother, played for Spain, and been coach of Panama since 2020. Was their coach at the Gold Cup in 2021 as well. And Panama is just doing a lot of things right, even though they didn't qualify for the World Cup. They qualified for a Women's World Cup for 2023, and they got to the Men's World Cup 2018. So it shows the progression and them knocking on the door from the 2006 cycle. And remember, they've had some good showings at the Under-20 World Cup as well. Their first Under-17 World Cup was 2011 when Jamaica made their second appearance as well. And they've gone on to go to future youth tournaments as well. So they're doing a lot of right things, great things on the ground there. And if you look at the runs that they've had in Gold Cups as well, runners-up 2005, runners-up 2013, semi-finalists in 2011 and 2015, quarter-finalists 2017 and 2019. And they had a group stage exit in 2021. Yeah, to many it was a surprise to see that Honduras made it through to the quarterfinals over Panama. You know, Panama, they defeated Grenada. They had that opening day draw against Qatar. But the loss to Honduras was basically what hurt them. But they still have Rolanda Blackburn at their disposal. Yeah. So that's where we are right now. So that's the situation there. So Mexico, the United States, Costa Rica, and Canada will not play in the group stages of the Nations League. They will head directly to the quarterfinals. Directly. Yeah, they played the United States in a Gold Cup final. We have to go back to 2005. They played the US in a Gold Cup final. The game went to penalties, I believe. But yeah, they've played in a Gold Cup final as well. So they played in 2 Gold Cup finals, just like Jamaica. Yeah. Costa Rica has been to 1 Gold Cup final. Jamaica 2. Honduras been to a Gold Cup final. Canada 1 Gold Cup final. And they went on to win it in the year 2000 after defeating Colombia. In League B, you have Trinidad and Tobago, French Guyana, Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominican Republic, Bermuda, St. Lucia, Puerto Rico, Montserrat, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Belize, Barbados, Bahamas, St. Martin, Bonaire, Dominica, Aruba, This is League C now. Bonaire, Dominica, Aruba, Turks and Caicos Islands, Cayman Islands, St. Martin, the French one, Anguilla, the US Virgin Islands, and the British Virgin Islands. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 teams in League C. 9 teams in League C. And you spread it out in a sense. Yeah. Would you look at that? Remember when we saw the UEFA Nations League, many people had this viewpoint of what it could be. Concacaf Nations League on board 5 years now, and I'm actually pleased about it. Damari McCallum says any new CDM could be in the Gold Cup. We'll see, my friend, but John Russell gave a very big representation of his ability. John Russell showed in less than 45 minutes his capabilities. We saw it at Barnsley. We saw it briefly at Huddersfield Town. And for those of you Chelsea fans, you guys would have seen him in Chelsea's academy as well. So it is no surprise to see the performance that John Russell put out on the field of play. Remember, even from his days in the Chelsea academy, we've seen similar sorts of performances. Devon Smith, how are you doing, sir? Hope you're doing well. How are things? Let me know how you are doing. Well, the process is being worked upon. As you know, submitting documents is step one of the process. Being able to receive the passport is another step. So, you know, there's a process that means that you have this sort of aspect to be checked, double checked, triple checked. So there's still some work to do to ensure that a couple of players be able to get over the line from this standpoint. So that is something that is important for us to bear in mind. So for this edition of the Nations League, we will have relegation. Unlike what happened previously, there was no relegation from the 2022-2023 Nations League, but we will have relegation in this edition of the Nations League. It'll be interesting to see what the formats be like moving forward, but this is what we have to bear in mind for right now. And May 16, when the draw comes, we will get everything that we need to know in relation to the groups, the matches, the schedule, the venue, so we can say, okay, we have this match on this day, this match at this time, so that we can make plans and put it into place. And I know the question that has been raised by numerous people in relation to, okay, well, what about the situation in relation to friendlies? Well, that is something that is still being worked upon, you know. Friendly matches are an element that are still being worked on, and hopefully we should have some confirmation on that quite soon, but plans are being put in place so that we can have friendly matches for prior to the Gold Cup. That is something that is being worked upon. All right, so that's something for us to bear in mind. All right, so we're working on it. It will fall into place in due time. That's for us to bear in mind, and we'll work on that.